This is Land of Havilah, Proverbs 29, verse 1. He who is often rebuked and stiffens his neck will be destroyed suddenly with no remedy. Comment, he who's been corrected many times and still stubbornly refuses to listen will be destroyed suddenly and will not recover. Verse 2. When the righteous thrive, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people groan. Comment, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan. Verse 2. Whoever loves wisdom brings joy to his father, but a companion of prostitutes squanders his wealth. Comment, a son who loves wisdom is a joy to his father, but a senseless son, familiar with prostitutes, squanders his wealth. Verse 4. The king by justice makes the land stable, but he who takes bribes tears it down. Comment, where there's a bribe, there's no justice. Justice strengthens a nation, but bribery brings it to ruins. Verse 5. A man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet. Comment, flattery is a trap, it's manipulation. Verse 6. An evil man is snared by his sin, but the righteous can sing and be glad. Comment, an evil man is trapped by his sin, but the righteous are light-hearted. Verse 7. The righteous care about justice for the poor. The wicked aren't concerned about knowledge. Comment, the righteous are concerned about justice for the poor. It doesn't register with the wicked why they should even think about it. Verse 8. Mockers stir up a city, but wise men turn away anger. Comment, mocking stirs up anger and resentment. Those who are wise refuse to let mocking anger them. They refuse to be provoked by mocking. Verse 9. If a wise man goes to court with a foolish man, the fool rages or scoffs, and there is no peace. Comment, wise men, be advised. If you take a foolish man to court, he'll use it as a forum to rage and scoff against you. Verse 10. The bloodthirsty hate a man of integrity, and they seek the life of the upright. Comment, it's hard to understand why anyone would hate a man for his integrity, but it's a fact that evil hates good even to the point of murder. Quote, the bloodthirsty hate a man of integrity, and they seek the life of the upright. Verse 11. A fool vents all of his anger, but a wise man brings himself under control. Comment, a fool vents his anger, but a wise man controls himself. Verse 12. If a ruler listens to lies, all of his officials are wicked. Comment, if a ruler doesn't insist on the truth from his advisors, he won't get the truth. They'll only tell him what he wants to hear. Verse 13. The poor man and the oppressor have this in common. Yahweh gives sight to the eyes of both. Comment, just the one miracle of eyesight is proof that God made us, let alone all the other proofs. But more to the point of the proverb, the oppressor should be aware that the man he's oppressing was made by God as well. Verse 14. The king who fairly judges the poor, his throne shall be established forever. Comment, God has no reason to depose a righteous king who fairly judges the poor. Verse 15. The rod of correction gives wisdom, but a child left to himself causes shame to his mother. Comment, it's delusional to withhold discipline from a child. A child will not raise himself well. He must be corrected if he's going to turn out well, if needed by the rod. Force doesn't teach children aggression. It teaches them submission to rightful authority for the right reasons. If a child doesn't learn submission to rightful authority, there's no hope for him. Quote, the rod of correction gives wisdom, but a child left to himself causes shame to his mother. Verse 16. When the wicked increase, sin increases, but the righteous will see their downfall. Comment, there are times when wickedness is on the increase, but the righteous will live to see the wicked house of cards collapse. Verse 17. Correct your son, and he'll give you peace. Yes, he'll bring delight to your soul. Comment, correct your child, and he'll give you peace. Verse 18. Where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint, but one who keeps the law is blessed. Comment, the first part of this proverb is often quoted from the King James Version, but without the context of the second part. The first part in King James is where there is no vision, the people perish. That's misleading unless we put the second part with it, the second part being one who keeps the law is blessed. It's understood from the second part that the vision being spoken of is a vision to keep the law. So the meaning of the proverb is that when a person or nation has no vision of obeying God, they perish. They don't just need any vision, they need to be inspired to obedience to God. Verse 19. A servant can't be corrected by words, though he understands, yet he'll not respond. A servant doesn't serve because he's told. If he serves at all, it's because of an underlying motivation, which is either reward or punishment or both. Verse 20. Do you see a man who's hasty in his words? There's more hope for a fool than for him. The first part is very consistently translated, a man hasty in his words. He speaks too soon as a habit. There's more hope for a fool than for a man who's hasty in his words. Verse 21. He who pampers his servant from youth will have him become a son in the end. That's also translated, will have him become an heir in the end. So the whole thing would be to the effect, he who habitually pampers his employee will have him be a son and heir in the end. So depending on what you want the relationship to be careful either to pamper the employee or not to pamper him. Verse 22. An angry man stirs up strife, and a wrathful man abounds in sin. A man angry by habit stirs up strife. A man who flies into a rage by habit abounds in sin. Verse 23. A man's pride brings him low, but one of lowly spirit gains honor. A man who lifts himself up in pride is destined to be brought low. A humble man is destined to be lifted up. Verse 24. Whoever is an accomplice of a thief is an enemy of his own soul. He takes an oath, but dares not testify. An accomplice of a thief curses himself because when he hears the call for anyone with information on the crime to come forward or be cursed, he doesn't come forward and is cursed. Verse 25. The fear of man proves to be a snare, but whoever puts his trust in Yahweh is kept safe. Fear God, not man. There's safety in the fear of God and ruin in the fear of man. Verse 26. Many seek the ruler's favor, but a man's justice comes from Yahweh. There's only so much a human official can do for you. Only God has the power to deliver complete justice. Therefore, it's better to have favor with God than with men. Verse 27. A dishonest man detests the righteous, and the upright in their ways detest the wicked. The dishonest and the upright detest each other in the proverb. Quote, a dishonest man detests the righteous, and the upright in their ways detest the wicked. Now, when that proverb says the upright detest the wicked, it's going to create some confusion because Jesus commanded us not to detest our enemies, but to love them, do good to them, pray for them, and so forth. Matthew 5:44. But why did Jesus have to command that? It's because that's not natural for us. It's natural to detest the wicked, as the proverb says, but it's godly to love the wicked. Of course, we're to do the godly thing. As far as progress through this book of Proverbs, remember in chapter 25, the first verse of that said, these are the Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out. Now this marks the end of that 5-chapter section. There are 2 chapters remaining. Each is a section of its own. Proverbs 30 is next.